Hey, what's going on, Royal Family? Welcome to another episode of the Kingdom Podcast Roundtable Talk. Um, First and foremost, I'm happy to be back. I missed a couple of weeks, but the awesome team that we have here, the Kingdom, Fridge, Fish, Carly, Parunga, all the people that you see here today, they've been on it. They've been holding together the strings, even while I took some downtime. And I just want to say, first and foremost, I appreciate all of you guys for taking time out of your days to, keep what we have going. So I appreciate that. Secondly, you know how we do. We're gonna talk about the things going on in the market. We're gonna look at some charts. We're gonna decide what looks good, what doesn't look good. These are all of our own opinions. None of this is financial advice. So if you are looking for that type of advice, you probably want to consult somebody that's professional in that. Definitely do your due diligence. I just want to go ahead and get that out the way. You work too hard to just throw your money into the market without knowing what you're actually using it on. So do your own research or consult a professional, either way you go, but these are just our ideas and what we like. And thirdly, what's up, family? We got Fridge Financials. How you feeling, bro? Doing good?
Yeah, man, doing good. It was great, honestly, taking the back seat a little bit, letting you be back in the helm here because, man, hosting, dude, is not easy on this podcast, let me tell you. So I'm so glad that you're back. I'm able to contribute still as always. I know we are talking about some ideas from before that we'll talk about later on, but I did some research for the last 20 minutes straight just staring at screen. So I have some documents that we could talk about later on. I'm excited for another week on the market, man. Another full week. I'm ready to go. And it's like my second to last full week before school's back in session. I'm back to teaching students. So and try to do most of it as we go. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun week. I'm looking forward to it as always.
Yes, sir. Also, we got the Queen, Carly. How you feeling, Queen?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I'm glad to have him back, but I have to say, Bridge did a pretty bang up job of being the
Those.
hosting.
Most definitely.
She did a good. But welcome back, royalty. We missed you.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Of course, we got my boy Fish. How you feeling, Fish?
I'm great, bro. I'm great, bro. Thank you so much for having us on, on here and holding it down, giving us that opportunity, man. And once again, I'm going to ring the bell as Fridge. Wow, bro. You booked the energy. You did it. Did he, man? That he sounded like he was on, three espressos, like just back to back to back. It was great.
But you away my secrets, man. It's about 3 stutter shots in. It's my secret. I'm gonna give away my secrets to people like that.
I know Fridge definitely gonna bring the energy. He's definitely gonna bring the energy. And lastly we got my boy Parunga, the Dragon. How you feeling, man?
I'm doing well, thanks. Happy to have you back and happy to be here. And yes, just as everyone else said, Frisch did a great job, but happy to have royalty here. And I have not been doing research for the last 20 minutes, so just throwing that in there.
Well, I've been kind of behind. As you guys know, I went on vacation with the family for a little bit, had to take that time out. Once again, I can't express how important it is to take time away, not necessarily from the market, but give yourself an opportunity to do something different. Simply because when you become too focused on it, it messes up your perception about certain things because you're just too focused on it. So, it's always a good thing to kind of look away for a little bit and then come back to it with a fresh mind. So, I needed that. I came back and started calling bangers in the day trades and the swing trades. I was loving it. Fish MSTR went crazy for a day. It went from like that mid 300 level to almost 400, 405.
Yeah, it went just a little over 405, man. Trust me, I know this because I've got a 405C for this coming Friday, so I watch this.
Fast. Even we took Apple head on early, and it went from the 210 call that I was in. We sold it in the money. Next thing you know, I mean, it's at 230 now. That contract went from like 170. It was currently sitting at like $1,900. So, of course, money is money, profit is profit. But Hey, when you make a move like that sometime, it kind of hurt when you look at it and see like, bro, I had a $150 contract and it's at $1,900 now. So the market been using just differently. And I know, Perunga, you've been doing a lot of, spreads and everything. Well, would you call them spreads?
Yeah, it spreads. Yeah, and then sometimes I do like a put and stuff, but yeah, it spreads.
And man, I'm just impressed. I'm so impressed with how the consistency of, you entering and exiting is almost, you're automated with it, bro. So I definitely commend you on that, on the way that you execute, bro. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So,
Thank you.
first thing that we're gonna
But hey, it happened.
what you're saying?
Like what you said, you take a profit and then it could have been more. It happens.
Bro.
It happens. But profit is profit, like we talk about.
Profit is profit. So, we're gonna start it off. We're gonna look at the SPY and the Qs. I got the chart up. Can you guys see the chart too? I should be streaming it in the Discord for you guys also.
I do not see anything right now. Yeah, you might have to reshare your screen again for it.
Let's see. Oh yeah, it did come off. All right. Let me reshare.
So they don't want you revealing this to the charts, dude. They want you to keep it to yourself.
Can you guys see it now? Okay, cool. All right, so first and foremost, I got the SPY up. Now, if I look at it, we're going to retest these, or we're pushing. Let me not say that we're looking to retest these all-time highs around 640. These gap ups that we have, it's been showing strength. We're coming off of a bullish month, 1 month, and a bullish 3 month. So, every time it looks like that the market is going to go ahead and retrace back to the downside, we're seeing the investors actually, we're watching them step in. So going into this upcoming week, we got this gap down here and we have a gap up here and a gap up here. Here we are with the all-time highs again. This is going to be interesting, in my opinion. Let's fix that. All right, so right now, this is one of the earliest trends that I see right now on SPY. Even if we come down and refill this gap here between 633 and 632, we're still within the guidelines of this uptrend right here. So the thing that I'm kind of watching that's letting me know that we're probably going to continue pushing up. We had a gap down a gap up that the price filled it, but it came right back up and gapped up. So it shows that investors liked it. A lot of people are probably waiting on this gap down here to get filled. But as of right now, we got to play this one. And if it gets filled, I'm going to continue to say, until we break this trend right here, it's going to come back up and it's going to get bought back up. Because I feel like they want to come back up and retest 640 to see if it's ready. It might not be ready yet, but at least we gonna get another retest to get a second try here. So if it fails, the first thing that I'm watching right now is for this support right here to hold up. So this is a level of support, kind of like we saw it retested over here. And then it finally came back down after it didn't have enough to actually continue up. Here's the support that I'm liking right now. And this is around 629, 630. So on a bigger scale, I'm watching the actual price action in between here. So between 638 and 630, I'm watching to see how the price is going to actually anticipate, the moves that we've been seeing lately. The push from Apple, the big push from Microsoft, the drop from Tesla. All of these are keeping prices in neutral areas to kind of keep the SPY consolidated, so it keeps us within these ranges right here. So the first green day that we see where everything moves together, that's when we're going to be on the road to going back to push these all-time highs. And then for this month, I actually got a upside target around like 652. And that's if we hold structure and we continue to push to the upside. So it's going to be a big move. That's about a $12 move from all-time highs. But you never know. We got a couple of stocks that's like I said, it's kind of in the gutter or trading sideways. But we saw this absolute move from Apple here. And this is what I want to go over real quick before we hop into everything else. This is what's holding the market up right now. Once it broke this 206 level, we took profit right around here. But even afterwards, it got an extra extended move to the upside, which this price action right here isn't even normal for Apple. Apple normally moves within like the $3 or $4 range. This is the actual unnatural move for Apple to kind of really squeeze out these people that was holding puts and looking for this move right here to continue back to the downside. So I just will keep my eyes out for Apple. I wouldn't buy anything else in it as of right now, just because I know it's extended. It could hover around here, but just be careful. I'm watching for support to set up around these ranges right here. And then, as you know from the past, normally when Apple consolidates or drops, that gives the other stocks time to actually move on their own. Because we've seen a lot of consolidation, but we've seen big moves from Apple. So while this is taking its chance to kind of breathe from the extended move we've been seeing, you could see the rest of some of these stocks move or have their time to shine in the market. NVIDIA, Google, Amazon, even Microsoft. I'm hoping Microsoft, but hopefully the rest of the market gets to move while Apple gets, to breathe. So, crypto, Bitcoin. I'm coming your way, Fish. Coming your way.
I had myself muted and I heard crypto and I was like, okay, unmute.
Coming here. So Bitcoin looks very interesting. I remember we saw the actual drop down to this 113 range. I think I remember I seen you post about buying the dip down here. Beautiful buy. Beautiful buy. We're sitting at 118.9, pushing. I think I said I wouldn't be surprised if we open around 119, 120 tomorrow. This daily candle looks strong. It's about an hour, 24 minutes left before it closes. It looks strong. We could be building off of this going into tomorrow. So, definitely keep an eye on that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Nah, go ahead, bro. What you were saying?
I was just going to say it's very important for us to close over 118 in order to continue moving up. If we close under 118, then we have the possibility of going back down and retracing. So this is looking very, very strong. Very strong.
I agree. How are you feeling about MSTR?
Oh man, I'd love to see the share price go up. That's for certain.
Have you scooped up any more Misty?
No, man. I've got enough Misty right now. I've got 550 shares. I'm good. I'm where I want to be on that. I've got some other things that I'm focusing on that are not crypto related, which I know it's weird but yeah. So no, I haven't scooped up any more Misty, but my next that dividend play is going to definitely be ULTY. I know that's not crypto related. I'm just saying since we're talking about dividend stocks there.
Yeah, that's something I really been pumping for the past. Well, this past week, I mean, I've been every time it drops below that $6, $6.04, $6.03. I'm like, hey, look, y'all, buy right now. Like, buy. Because it's probably gonna go back and retest 620, 630. So whenever the market actually recovers. So, and it actually has holders in well, I don't know how long they how frequently ULTY rotate their holdings, but last time I looked, they had some MSTR on it.
Yes, they do. Yes, they certainly do.
So even when you're not talking about crypto, you're talking about crypto pretty much.
I did notice that it was one of their holdings, which made me a little bit more bullish on buying it. I will be honest there. But I also do like that it's a weekly payout, so that's really cool.
Cool. Yeah, M Finance, M Finance and Geo, they both they love Misty. I mean, not Misty, ULT.
ULT. Yeah. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Can we talk about Ethereum real quick?
ETH, okay. What's up with it? What's up with it? With Ethereum right now?
Man, I mean, look at your chart. That chart is wild. That's all I have to say.
I used to be big on Ethereum. I know a lot of people was doing a lot of like staking and things of that nature with Ethereum and buying it. My chart as of right now said it was looking to retest. When was this? So this was just
Weekend it went parabolic.
Yeah, this was just yesterday. Last night it retested resistance at 4,300. So we can come back above 4,300. Make this move around here, that 4,400 level. That's gonna be the test, as far as I know. Cause look at the move that we could see.
So parabolic is what I'm hearing.
If Bitcoin wants to continue to move, honestly, it could move on its own, but I always just try to look at how strong Bitcoin is, and that's what motivates me to say, all right, the rest of them are gonna want to follow too. But if it keeps moving up, where's my Bitcoin at? Yeah, it's already finna go back and retest. It's 119. I'm looking for Bitcoin to retest this 123 if we continue this uptrend. I still got 132. I know I gave that level pretty early on when we first seen the move to the upside, but I still got 132 as a level I think that we can reach this year. Well, this quarter, we put it like that. So with ETH, if Bitcoin can make another parabolic move, I think this could be followed the same way. We just seen this thing just go from 3,500 to 4,300 in a week. I think
Yeah,
we can see that. I think we can see another move. And yeah, we actually been talking about ETH, drawing the charts and going over it and everything. So I know you're looking for this thing to hit this 5,400 level, huh?
Not immediately, because I recently started my position in Ethereum, and I wasn't bullish enough. As soon as I started it, apparently I personally I would love to see it drop back down to the 3,500 level. My is 3,581 on point four Ethereum. So I'd love to see it drop back down so I can throw anything that I have available at it.
Well, you know. So you know what that means. Whenever we want something to drop, you know what that means. That means we got in with just enough money to make some money on it. Cause
that means 5,400 coming.
Yeah, we never really get as much money as we want in it before it just runs. Like Apple. Everybody and their mama's probably like, man, I should have bought more. I should have. Apple said, nope. Hey, either you can get what you can get and hold on for the ride, or just miss the ride altogether. So it's definitely dope that you already got a position formed in ETH and you already taking that ride to the upside. So good luck, brother.
Thank you.
Vix Queen, Carly, what you got? I know she said she was cooking a little bit.
I am done now. Now I'm on cleanup, so I have like 30 seconds to go. Okay, yep. The VIX has been really interesting. It's been in a very, very, very tight channel between 15 and 18, and seeing the volumes, you can see how it's being compressed in between there. So it's kind of making it a prime time to swing trade UVIX and XVIX, which ironically are the same exact price right now. You could literally every day swing both of them and make like an easy 8% return. It's become one of the most predictable, until it won't be, unfortunately, but it has become an extremely predictable trade right now. So, and it's shares. So if you're, if you're scared to get into VIX calls or calls period, you can just swing trade UVIX shares and SVIX shares.
I remember you mentioning UVIX to me a little while ago. So yeah, it definitely looks like it's broken a lower low. But normally when you see this, it's gonna eventually want to have like a little slingshot of fit back to the upside before it really settles and decides if it wants to continue to go down or not. So you're right about that. You could definitely make a nice 8%, overnight on it.
Yes. And it's become extremely predictable. And I think it's going to be predictable for all of the month of August, because so much of the market is on auto trade right now that when the VIX hits a certain level, it kicks these quants and algos into buying SPX. They don't buy SPY, they buy SPX. Or when it hits 18, it like triggers a little sell off, and they just seem to be going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on it. So I think we should see that a lot of August, unless something, a wild card comes up, which we know is always possible.
I mean, and it's doing exactly what you're saying. It's a nice little, downtrend, but it's very, very tight. It's pretty much hugging the bottom of the trend, and then you're getting a sharp move to the upside. So, definitely an easy money maker by the end of the week. If we don't see it at the beginning of the week, then you're gonna see it by the end of the week or the beginning of the beginning of the next week.
Well, and with having PPI or CPI Tuesday and then PPI Thursday, I would be prepared that there's probably going to be a big market movement. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but keep that.
So those are some of the red folder events that we got coming up this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Fridge had the list of all of them. Those are the two big ones I know.
Yeah, we got the CPI Tuesday, PPI Thursday, jobless claims is always on Thursday. I think retail is Friday, I want to say, for...
It won't be anything.
I mean, now we're talking about CPI and PPI. They're looking at, their estimates are going to be higher than last month, which obviously, as we know, just means that inflation is still sticking around higher and higher, which just makes rate cut. I mean, if we get, kind of like what Kyler's saying, if we get any kind of data points, like CPI can reveal two things. We can see that inflation isn't is not going up as much as we expect from tariffs, which was good, which could keep the rate cut idea somewhat in check. If CPI comes in higher than expected, comes in really hot compared to what it's supposed to come in at, and you get a big miss there, the rate cut percent is going to be dropping in September because of higher prices and inflation. So CPI is the bigger one, I think, to watch, definitely. It is always good to watch retail sales, though, because, again, that's how you know what the spending is in the economy, what's the consumer doing. And right now, their projections for retail month over month, last month it came in really good at 0.6%. This month they're looking at 0.5%. So a little bit of a decrease compared to last month's retail sales. If it comes in expectations, I think that's going to be no big deal for the market. But if we get a big miss and retail sales is a lot lower then 0.5%, that also could be a factor that could push this economy and push these markets down a little bit and get that spike in the VIX as Carly's talking about. So retail, CPI, PPI, always some good things to watch out for the week. And that's really all I really got at this moment on that.
Retail's going to be interesting because July was Prime Week, and also that was the same week that Walmart smashed sales also. So I'd be surprised if it came in really good.
Yeah, I mean, and I think if we get a higher report on retail sales, I think that's going to that like our economy is still spending and it's still thriving, and you don't even need. But I think if it comes in also higher than expected, I think that would also decrease the chance of a rate cut, because if your economy is still spending and it's still showing strong spenders from the consumer side, you don't need a rate cut. The rate cut is there to stimulate the economy. And if retail sales is higher than expected and still doing really, really well, like that's where you're going to sit there and be like, I don't need to do this. I don't really need to cut rates because our economy is still thriving. There's still money being pumped into it. So retail sales is definitely something that I think some people tend to overlook at times, but it is a very, very big factor to keep your eye out for, to see what the consumers are doing overall.
Absolutely.
As far as inflation goes and things like that, how do you guys feel about that?
Well, my thought that the market has not priced in tariffs. I know that for sure, which makes sense because it's just barely starting to show up in the numbers. And I saw a stat last month that the tariffs take 6 to 18 months to start to flow through all the system. Plus, I'm not even sure that companies have figured out if they're, because they're probably going to swallow some of them, and then some of them will be passed on. I think companies probably haven't even figured that out. So, market isn't pricing it in, but at some point they're going to have to price it in if it starts to hit these econ reports.
That's something I was starting to think about as far as this quarter goes. I know at the beginning of the year, when we were having a lot of talk about, how the tariffs are going to really affect the economy and everything. My whole thing was, how is the companies going to reflect on like Q3, Q4 earnings reports once these tariffs really start setting in, and what companies are going to be able to stay afloat. It's going to really show who has the cash on hand and things of this nature as far as survival. So
Absolutely.
has anything really just went into effect with tariffs? Honestly,
August 7th, everything went into effect.
Wasn't there some delay though? Was it? I don't know. I thought I saw something that there's something that's coming up August 12th for tariffs. I could be wrong, but
Well, maybe a specific country, but anybody who got the letter or we made a deal with, those started August 7th.
oh, so August 12th is the expiration of the tariff agreement between the U.S. and China. It's a big one. That's the biggest one that everybody's been relying on, is the one between the U.S. and China. And if nothing gets finalized there and we keep it going, then could see a little bit of a reaction in market there, I think, as well.
Yeah, but when we see them say we don't have an agreement, but we're very, very close, so we're going to give it another 90 days.
We're going to 4 years of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. The market, in my opinion, the market has already sort of become numb to that. We're sort of expecting this to happen. Yeah, that's just my personal opinion from watching the chart as the different news comes out.
And I think it's one of those things where it's like, the big hitter is China, right? So Trump's like, oh, we can put tariffs on this country, this country, this country. Okay, cool, whatever. But like the heavy hitter, like the final boss battle, is U.S. and China. And that's the one that the market will really have a reaction to when things are, quote unquote, finally set in stone, which is probably why U.S. and China has been the one that's really been pushed back on and have been delayed over and over again. The smaller countries, they're more just like, yeah, we'll delay it, but we could still get, some tariff, negotiations in there. but they're going to keep pushing back the China one because they know how much of a heavy hitter that would be on the economy. Because again, remember, when we first announced those tariffs back in April of like 200% or whatever the crap it was, like our market hated that. They were just like, this is disgusting. Like we are screwed. And then he was like, whoa, let's back up here a little bit. We got back up. Hey, we want to go into a Great Depression here. So he backed off because that's how much of a heavy hitter China is on GDP for the U.S. economy. And that's the problem, which is why I think, Fish, like you're saying, we're going to keep kicking the can down the road. 90 days turns into another 90 days and turns into, hey, by 2027, by 2028, oh, I'm out of presidency. Okay, whatever, nothing got done, but I did the best I could in my 4 years kind of thing. So I completely agree. I wouldn't be shocked if, Monday night comes around and there's Trump on True Social Stay. We're getting very, very close to a deal again with China. We're not really quite sure. It's in the works, as we know. I have somebody flying over to China right now and be with representatives from China. It's China.
Because it sells brick walls.
With the term administration for the last month. No, these are down for the year. So I have not been insider trading that one.
For something that I wanted to add to this fridge, because what's brought up is extremely important. And while we don't think it affects the market, it absolutely affects the market, right? So national security, okay? China owns a great deal of our debt. If they wanted to, they could help not crash our economy, but they could severely hurt our economy. If they just unloaded all of our debt all at once, it would severely hurt our economy. So dealing with China is not the same as dealing with, I don't know, holy.
Exactly. But, it's not the same as dealing with France. I mean,
This is so different because of the multitude of different reasons. I mean, we haven't even talked about I'll call it. This is just so important. So that's why I'm pretty positive that we will just continue to get the 90-day.
Is there a Robinhood prediction market for this fish by any chance? Do you know?
One yet, but when there is, I'll let you know because I'm gonna full port on it. Okay.
Well, did you see that they have? Did you see that they have the Bitcoin prices for the year? You could estimate when Bitcoin hits like a certain price. You could buy into that if you want to.
So I've seen somewhere, maybe it was on Webull, that you can bet like where Bitcoin's gonna close like within the next hour, or maybe it was on Robinhood. I don't know. It's one of those two. You just Battle Robinhood. Okay, so that was Webull. It's like, guys, this is just gambling straight. And they're like,
isn't even like an option.
they don't even give you that big of a spread on it, Harley. That's all. Yeah, it's a pretty tight spread for Bitcoin, and it's just like not even worth it. In my
They don't have anything up there, but yeah. By the way, bet on what happens Tuesday. But if you're first on the Kingdom podcast, that we are all predicting that nothing will happen and the can will be cooked down in another 90 days. And then we'll maybe talk about TikTok again, because I don't even know what happened with TikTok, like with the ban on that one. I know they pushed it back again like a while ago, but
Just get shit down the road too.
yeah. And again, it's a major thing with China also. So Trump just keeps kicking that one down the road as well, probably being like, hey, like we're buddies here, like, hey, trying to help you out a little bit, whatever the case is, dude. I mean, it's going to just be pushed back. But like Vietnam, they're like, nah, tariffs, get out of here. I don't give a crap about you, Vietnam. Like, it's like, okay, dude, sure. Like, you're picking on the little kid in school, but then you have this big, strong guy who's like the most handsome one in the class. You're like, oh, it's okay. Like, hey, buddy, it's cool. But the little small kid that's like super scrawny is getting like absolutely pushed in the dirt over here, like Vietnam, and just shook in the ground. Like, it's so stupid sometimes.
Actually have a little. Well, I have a little insight on the TikTok situation on it. It's all supposed, right? But as some of the Kingdom members know, Mrs. Fish has her ear to the ground pretty good, and she usually hears stuff first. And before she hears that, she tells me, and I'm like, "We know about that, hon." And then a bit later, I'm like, "How the hell did you know about this?" You know what I mean? And it's like Fridge was saying, once or twice is a coincidence. When you've got a full data set, it's no longer a coincidence. So he was telling me that what she's heard is that Larry Ellison's son is supposed to take over the American portion of TikTok. That's supposed to be what's behind the scenes. Larry Ellison of Oracle.
Doesn't have the algorithm, which is really what they want. That's the problem, is the algorithm.
Yeah. It wasn't Facebook trying to buy or attempted to buy the algorithm from TikTok.
I think all of them did. And China has said a hard no way, Jose, are you getting the algorithm, because you can only imagine what's in it, what they're really using it for.
If they want the algorithm, you just got to pay the $500 billion or whatever it's evaluated at and buy out TikTok. That's all you got to do.
TikTok being a Chinese or ByteDance who owns TikTok, being a Chinese company, China would never allow the sale.
They'll still pay. They are not selling that algorithm. China allow it. They won't. They've said that.
That is exactly my point. It's just the Chinese state government would never allow it.
Yep.
I might cut y'all off real quick. Hey, what y'all think about this bull chart right here? Real quick. Really?
It's probably a really good chart. It's probably going to look really nice. It does look awesome, but I just see a smiley face. I don't know what my problem is today, but
No, it's
Cool. Be cool price action on here, man. I see some really neat stuff in here.
like that's Weeble.
And I love the way that this chart is. It's
So cool. The different patterns inside the different patterns. Like you can see the cup and handle inside the cup and handle. Like this is.
does the smiley face mean that we're being bullish also? Is that what I'm getting? The big it's like, yo, guys, like, I'm so happy I'm going to make some money on this stock right now.
Yeah. So if this doesn't break down on Weeble, we'll probably see this $21 mark pretty soon.
Ooh, that's pretty. That's a good return too. What's that right now? 15?
yeah, something around that.
You're looking at like a 30-something% upside, I think. If I'm this correct. I don't know. It's a Sunday evening, but
Bro, this is where I originally started alerting it right here.
yeah.
What's the time frame on that chart, Royalty?
This is a 30-minute.
Oh, 30-minute. Okay.
Yeah, this is
So at
30 minutes.
point, it was $21 though?
Yeah, at one point in time, these are all like post IPO. So it IPO'd at between
Beginning of it with you now.
It had that huge squeeze of that when it first IPO. It went to like 70, right? It was like 70 something. Yeah, almost $80. That was a wild one. And then imagine buying at the top $80 and then you get rug pulled down to $10.
It hurt.
It's crazy. If someone's watching this and they did that, I apologize. I'm not throwing shots, but like, oh man, like that's always the thing where it's like playing IPOs is so risky. No matter what IPO comes out, whether it's, we had the CoreWeave rally, we had the Circle huge rally, Reddit had a huge rally. I know it when it first IPO'd, but then you have like Figma, the new one, rallied one day and it's come back down a lot ever since. So like IPOs are so tricky to trade with, in my opinion, because it could be. It's kind of like throwing a dart at a dartboard and just hoping that the valuation is too low and people love the stock and they pump it up higher. But it's a hard one to play these days.
Does anybody know any background on Figma?
Oh, I know.
I know that in a lot of companies, I think it's like 400 something out of 500 Fortune 500 companies or whatever, and they're like Adobe wanted to buy them out at one point at a lower price, and they said no, and they went public, and they're worth more, I think, than what Adobe offered. I believe.
I don't even know what they do. I think they're AI or something.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know exactly what it is either. I don't know if it's like you know what, dude? I can Google it for you guys. Don't worry. 4 monitors here, so use one of them.
You know why I asked? It was because, on weekends I post charts for whoever, just want insight on whatever. Don't matter. And the first one I did was Adobe because he asked me to look at it he asked me to look at it like Thursday before I even decided to start looking at it. So I looked at it, charted it and everything. And, I started getting the comments like, oh, Adobe trash and Adobe this, Adobe that. Adobe's been getting beat up pretty bad. Yeah. I didn't know anything that correlated with Adobe and Figma, but apparently it's, some type of competitive market, competitive marketing with Adobe and Figma, whatever. So
Yeah, it's with like marketing and designing and AI and stuff like that. But it's the thing though with Adobe, and I don't know if you saw those two I put on After Hours today, but like there's quite a few AI stocks that are getting or like companies that are being heavily impacted by AI now this year. And Adobe's one of them. So down like 25% year to date. But it's because again, you have why go to Adobe and pay the subscription for Photoshop or Premiere and pay all the money for it when you can go into any kind of AI building platform and it can make sort for you, it can make TikToks for you, it can make images for you, it can make thumbnails for you. Like, why do you need Adobe in that case? And so that's the big risk they're playing right now is now, and my theory is this, Adobe now basically over the next 6 to 12 months, maybe longer, they're backed against the wall in terms of are they going to innovate and then push their company to a new level to outbeat or to outpace what AI is doing in terms of like ChatGPT, or they're going to just keep doing what they're doing and fall behind the curve and then AI just takes it over. So that's a huge thing that like Adobe is one of those plays where it's being heavily impacted negatively because of AI. And you wouldn't think that at first, but because AI is taking over all of it, I made my thumbnails through AI. I use ChatGPT for my thumbnails. I don't need Adobe Photoshop and I have to go in and edit it and then do that. When I edit my videos free through software I have on my computer. I don't need to buy Premiere to edit videos and stuff like that. Is it as good? Probably not, but it's things where people would rather do it for cheaper than to pay more for it. So Adobe's one of those ones where it's being heavily impacted negatively right now by AI, which I kind of shocked to believe, but that's kind of where it's at right now.
I'm gonna say this about Adobe. Adobe got about $100 more to the downside until it completely falls apart. So as of right now, like everything below this 338 level, and this is a 12-month time frame. So these are yearly calendars. This isn't a new territory for it though. Not saying that it's gonna recover, not saying that it's not, but what I'm telling you is just pretty much what I'm seeing. These are where Adobe prices get bought in at. We saw it in 2020, we saw it in 2022, and we saw it in 2023. So these aren't foreign waters where we're at right now for Adobe as of right now. So
Well, and that was all pre-AI, the 20 and the 23. So I would think it's really got to only be downside from here because Fridge is dead on. Why pay for it when so much of the stuff's free now?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you would have to do again is Adobe has to find a way to innovate themselves to get back into the competitive game. Like Microsoft, Meta, they're dumping billions of dollars into AI. They're doubling, tripling down on AI, on that kind of technology to help expand their company, to help grow it, to help them get to the next level. Adobe has to do the same thing to give them that edge. Exactly. If Adobe just stays stagnant and you don't see new products, like that's going to be a problem. Like, so I'll tell you right now, for one example, for me, as someone who has, who runs my own YouTube channel, I use Adobe software because Adobe has a really good audio suppressant feature where I take my audio that records my video and I put it into it, and it takes out all the white noise, all the background stuff, so it sounds like a pure podcast. So that's why my voice sounds really, really clear through it. I use it for that, but I can promise you there's probably some AI software out there that's really good. The only reason why I use it is because Adobe is a top quality name. It's been in the business for years, and it's also free. That's the only reason why. If they start charging for that kind of feature, I'm getting out and going somewhere else. So Adobe has to think of a way to utilize AI to put them back ahead of the game and give them an edge. If you don't get that kind of movement in the next, couple earnings reports about where they're going moving forward, this thing is in some serious trouble, in my opinion.
Yeah. Is there any other company, that startup company, possibly, and you might not know this, I'm not expecting an answer, but is there anybody that they could possibly buy out in the future?
I mean, if you're talking like sound, I mean, I guess you could probably do SoundHound AI, maybe, but I know they're thriving by themselves right now. They're not profitable yet. They had really good earnings though. And they were up like 25-30% after hours. So, I mean, I don't know how likely of an acquisition that would be. I don't know what they would do with that kind of, technology, but they're like $1 billion market cap, or a couple billion, I think, if I'm not mistaken, SoundHound is. But that's my first thinking would be that. I think I'm probably way out of the ballpark on that one. The market cap's like $5 billion, yeah, so maybe not them. But I mean, starting off somewhere with some acquisitions would definitely be helpful for them to help get them to the next level. But they need that product because, again, like every day, this tool they use Oculus Clips, which is a really good one for AI generation. That one's free. There's NVIDIA AI, which is another one that makes shorts, TikToks, whatever. That one has a free trial as well that you can do, or not a free trial, but it's a free use. You don't get all the features, but it's a free use. There's so many of these new AIs that are coming out that are very, very good, and they're only going to get better. As if we feed more and more of it, it will only get better as a program. I think maybe you're right. I think maybe an acquisition would definitely be helpful for them. I don't know what they could do for innovating. Otherwise, if I did, I'd probably work for Adobe. But they got to do something. There's got to be a turnaround somehow. I mean, being down 20, if you told me they're down 25%, but SPY is up, I think 8% now on the year, like that's crazy to me, because Adobe was one of those heavy hitters that was up there. It was not Mag 7, but it wasn't too far away. Now I think it's gotten lost in the market. I don't really hear much about Adobe anymore.
That is, why would you buy a stock that high when there's so many? I mean, shit, NVIDIA is only what, 150, 160? I don't know what NVIDIA is.
I think it's like 180 now.
They said 182.
Why would you pay $3.5 or $3.50 for a stock that it doesn't have the edge when you could buy, 2 shares or almost 3 of NVIDIA?
Wonder what a stock split help make this more attractive.
I think at a lower price point, you definitely bring in more buyers, which, definitely helps overall financial position.
Do they do buybacks? Did they do a buyback with their last earnings?
Now with their last, I don't think so, because they would have done a lot better probably as a return, I feel like. But usually buybacks are bullish.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So I don't think so. I mean, but cause it looks like they didn't have a really that good of a report with their earnings. Do they have earnings coming up? Royalty?
Reason to have earnings 9-10. So September 10th.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, they haven't had a rate of earnings since 2018.
2018? What? Yeah, that's crazy. Well, so they're trading at a PE of 21, almost 22. Like they're not even like an overvalued compared to like NVIDIA. NVIDIA's PE is like in the 30s, maybe the 40s, and they're like a 22 PE ratio right now. So they're not like like overvalued companies. Like when you think of we see a lot of companies that are like, there's a lot of valuation they have to make up for. Like, for example, I hate to use it, but Palantir, their PE is like 600 and something. Like that's absolutely insane. And people just love it, right? And that's totally fine. I get it. Palantir, they're innovating, and I love what they're doing for like the defense sector and stuff like that. Sure. Tesla's PE is like 1 $50-ish last time I saw it, which was a little while ago. So again, still a pretty high valuation. Nvidia, Google, they're like 30s to 40-ish. Adobe's at like 22. And it's not like super overvalued compared to, again, Adobe goes with Nvidia and stuff like that. So compared to their sector, they're probably in a pretty decent valuation right now. I just think people are seeing like, why should I go to Adobe and buy into it when I can buy into Palantir? I can buy into Nvidia, like Harley is saying. Like, why do that? If Adobe offered a dividend, sure. Like, even Nvidia has a dividend, so you get even like a 0.001% return back on your money or whatever it is. But even offering that, like, still gives people more incentive to buy into it. So I don't see Adobe really doing much right now. They need to do something, but I'm gonna see if I can do anything, find anything about buybacks or something like that. Let's see if I can find anything for you.
Why are you looking at speaking about Palantir? Hey, this Palantir gonna have to start split within the next 2 years.
At the rate it's going, yeah, 100%.
I will say,
Gonna have to prove some of the valuation also.
Yeah. What were you saying, Pronga?
I think I know we've moved on for Adobe, but I feel like, Adobe's going to adapt and they're not going anywhere. I feel like it could potentially be even a leap opportunity, in my opinion. Maybe not right now, but eventually. Hey, I don't know. They're down pretty good.
Well, I can know. Sure. Not going from, I'm oblivious to the news for the most part. I live and die by the charts. And then I catch the news whenever it comes out. Like, nobody knew Apple was going to do what it was going to do, but we was in. So right now, just looking at the chart right now, we see a bounce here, bounce here, bounce here. Support is coming up. Even if you wanted to I made the post and I said buy shares, just because I didn't really look at the options chain to see, how the Greeks were set up and how the spreads were. Spreads probably low if, the spreads are probably wide if it's not a lot of volume, trading volume going on. But right here, 332 is a support level. Even if you bought shares here, I've been doing a lot of $100 buying shares. Tell people just put $100, because most people don't mind airing out $100 on an options contract when they could be airing out $100 on shares for something and still have their money left over. Even if it does dip, you're not losing nothing until you sell it. So if you're having issues with options, well, then let's go buy shares, so that way their money don't go nowhere. But anyways,
Or leverage ETFs.
Oh yeah, or leveraged ETFs. But
My favorite.
if it drops below 332, it can go to 311, it can go to 302, it can go to 294, it can go to 268. But regardless, just like Purunga was saying, Adobe is like, is there. Even though it's trying to, I don't know if it's trying to, in my head, it's trying to innovate. If it was trying to buy Figma, you're doing something to try to, add some value to your company. Look at NVIDIA. Every month we see NVIDIA buying another company.
Invest in them.
If Adobe does something and we just don't know about it yet, in this white box at these levels, this could be the opportunity to buy something. And like I said, if it breaks and fails this box, then, that's the confirmation for it to continue to fall to the wayside, to the base side.
None.
But until the stock price actually shows me this, I have to consider it a level to buy until it fails me. So, like I said, it's a lot of ways this could play out. This could be one of the situations like United Healthcare, to where it just keeps falling. But, we'll deal with that when it shows itself. So, Fred, you was looking something up. Have you found it, bro?
I was trying to look to see what they have. So like the big thing that Adobe uses is what's called Firefly AI. It's pretty okay. I've looked into it and I've used it. I just started using it a little bit. So you can make like images and stuff like that. So it's trying to compete with them in that way. people are saying don't count out Adobe yet, but again, like I feel like there's like that built up pressure behind the stock of like the AI. Is it going to run behind AI? Just for example, remember when Apple came out and they had like their like I forgot what kind of meeting it was. It was like a technology like reveal or whatever. I don't know. They call it something stupid. I don't know what it is. But like they kind of made it seem like their AI was like a back burner for them. And then the stock like reacted to that for a little while before it kind of rebounded when it did some acquisitions of I forgot who they bought out or they were talking about buying out. But if there's no real urgency to show them adapting more AI into their company, that's where I think the downside pressure is going to come from is through the adaptability here. So Adobe, again, they're worth $100 billion company, but they're not going to collapse within the next, maybe 6 months, 12 months, but they do have to start like innovating something. But the Firefly thing is pretty okay. I mean, is it free to use? It's free to use, but there's to pay to get more. Some people are saying that their subscriptions are up, which is good. But again, like even though the subscriptions are up, their stock is down for the year. So I don't know how much you can use that for things right now because I think it's just so much. And God only knows what happens. Like what happens if OpenAI goes public? Think about where the money's going to flow into. If OpenAI goes public, I know it's not, but imagine like on the off chance, like more private companies like that are AI based come out more and more, like where's the money going to flow to? If Adobe's not innovating, then most of it will happen.
No, it's fair. No, sorry. I just wanted to like make sure that wasn't like the point because I saw an interview with Sam Altman the other day. He was like, as much as we would like to, no, we're not going public.
Is that like, do you think that's like for like he will never ever go public, or is like in the near future? How do you find it?
For the way that it sounded in this interview, it was for the I'll call it foreseeable future, definitely near future. But it seems like he wants to do both, but he's leaning towards keeping it private.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, but we take a look at more and more, you could type in like on a Webull, like AI as just not even a ticker, just type in AI and like you have Tempest AI, you have SoundHound AI, like there's all these AI, companies and softwares that are coming out, and what's going to stop people from flooding into those, trying to get the next NVIDIA, trying to get the next whatever. Adobe's got to make a move somehow.
I'm actually in FFAI, so I would love
another way.
Hey, I will say what BBAI, what is CP?
BB? Yep, Black Bear AI. Yep, that's another one. Or Big Bear AI.
Your AI is another one. What is Frunga? Just AI. I don't know what they do, but that's just a ticker AI on its own.
the DR, which is also.
Have you guys seen the Yield Max? I bought in a little bit, like probably about a month or so ago, but it's an AI, right here.
Yield Max?
Yeah.
Well, trades daily, and it's really, really, really interesting what they're buying. I have become addicted to watching Yield Max's trades that they post, especially with Ulti, because it's really interesting. They've started buying UVIX, and so it gives me an inside window into what smart money thinks is going to happen. I love it. One of the things out there.
I've been alerting, like I said earlier, I've been alerting ULTY buys all week. We started buying it here, but anything under 604 is a buy. Next support level is this $6 mark. Because as you can see, when it was that August 1st, it was at $5.95 in the event, and it got bought straight up. So the only reason why I'm big on this right now is because I just see how consistent it is as far as the consolidation. Like bigger picture, look how strong this consolidation was between
their trades are really incredible. It really is really impressive what they do in it, and it's quite diverse. The hedging strategies are really impressive. I bought it for the first time because after watching the trade so much, it gave me confidence that even if the market were to take a downturn, it's not going to tank. I think they'll be able to keep it buoyed pretty well. I'm not a huge fan of these yield max things, but watching the trades, I'm in on this one. I got a pretty big position.
And that's one thing about yield max. It's certain ones that I'm willing to, talk about putting your money in. Um, I told the fish a while ago about MSTY, and it's almost, well, it's close to it, but I remember for a while I've been wanting this to come down to this level right here, below this $20 level, and we're here. So, um, I think right now, if you're gonna buy a Misty, I wouldn't sell. Even if you bought in high, I wouldn't sell here. I would actually turn on the drip and allow the drip to reinvest at these lower levels here, even if it drops down to like mid $17. Um, it's definitely a opportunity to buy in a lot cheaper. Look, when the last time we hit these levels, April and March, and eventually it shot right back up to $25. So
Right.
you can drip the earnings right now back into it if it consolidates here. And by the time it decides to run again with MSTR, if it doesn't start tomorrow, you're gonna be good. You'll have a nice DCA, and then you can take those monthly dividends that come from it, and you can throw that into something else.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been using the dividends like I paid out every week, and I've been buying up my crypto portfolio. So I've been buying up like BTC, Ethereum, XRP. So I'm taking now. I'm praying more towards what I'm believing long term in crypto. So far it's worked. Both those, the amount of money I've put in, if it comes out to be like $70-$80 a week, but it goes into my crypto portfolio and it's building up pretty nicely so far already.
Nice. Nice.
That's awesome, man. So that's exactly what I do with my Misty divs. Well, not exactly, but I take my cash from my Misty divs, and then I use it for positions that I'm long on.
And that's easy. You can take the money that you get. Well, first you can build a foundation, like using ULTY to build a foundation, just because it pays weekly. So
Right.
well, I'm not gonna say a lot of people, but there's people who have the capital to start a position in ULTY while it's cheap right now, and haven't been in the market for 10, 12 years. I mean, there's some new investors that hop in the market with $5,000-$6,000. You can take that, build a foundation for your portfolio into something that's gonna pay you a weekly dividend, and then you could take that money that you're getting from ULTY or any dividend for that most part, and take that and you can put that into other stuff. You don't have to constantly be taking losses. And if you just need to take a break, hey, I'm gonna take a break for a week and still get something added to my portfolio on Friday.
Right. And there's a way to look at it also, which is nice. Like for example, so like right now I'm looking at about like 5,000 between ULTY and YMAX, which is like the universe like yield max. And I made sure also to like not have the funds, the ETFs overlap. I make sure to look in like their holdings, and there's like one or two that overlap, but thankfully it's different. That way I don't get like, because like what would be the point in buying into YMAX if I could just put more into ULTY, but there's no overlap really for those two. So it still gives you that diversification part in the ETFs. But, I got like 5,000 sitting between both these together. If I can take those dividends, put it into crypto, and my crypto portfolio goes to over 5,000, then I'm up on my money then. The ULTY can go to zero, and I would still be up because my crypto positions are over $5,000 now, then I'm still up overall because of that. So being able to park in those longer term assets, all it takes is a matter of time now before my crypto goes over 5Gs. Once it goes over that 5G mark, ULTY goes to zero, I still would be up on it overall, and it won't go to zero, obviously, like not anytime soon. So That's how I looked at it. If think about it from like right now, it's going to build you up. So that way, every dividend you get paid out, the less money you need to like basically break even, essentially.
It's so many ways to get money out the market. You just have to be smart about it and just be educated about it. You know what I'm saying? So like we are all just giving out free gems on different ways to leverage your dollar inside the market. So there's no reason why somebody can't get something.
Absolutely, dude. 100%.
I want to make this little point too. So, let's say you get a monthly dividend of, we'll call it $500, just to keep it a nice round number. So you get a $500 dividend, and this is $500 extra, so to speak. And you've been looking at a company that maybe you wanted to go into, maybe you didn't. Well, now you've got this $500 dividend. Maybe you take that or a portion of it, and you go into that company that you were thinking about going into, because in my eyes, those are free shares that you're starting off your position with.
Exactly.
That's one thing that I did recently, and I'm extremely happy that I did it.
Y'all start talking about that. I didn't pull that Meta Planet just to see how the chart looks on it.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
it's a buyer's time, that's for sure.
I'm gonna say instead of $7 support, next support on that is about like me at 535. So this is definitely the buyer opportunity right now, like you just said. I mean, you're getting a nice little downtrend, but if it's something that you believe in, if it drops below and it starts hitting $5, I would start scooping up.
If it goes to that level, I will absolutely be DCAing 100%. I'm extremely bullish on Metaplanet. I've said it from the very first buy, from my very first mention of it. It for me, it's a 5-year hold minimum. I'm long term on it. I have a feeling that I'm getting in on the ground floor of what is going to be the Japanese version of MicroStrategy.
That's something to believe in. If you got conviction, hey, go for it. Definitely go for it. I've been looking at it to see if it's something that I want to add to my chasing now, since it's at these levels, because I'm always just weird. I'm paranoid. I ain't gonna lie to you. When stocks start running too high, I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'll wait till it consolidates for a little bit. Then I'll decide whether it's something I want to start in. Now, right now, the way Meta Planet looks, I mean, it's been having a trickle downtrend, but I honestly think that, just from listening to everything that it has to offer from you, I think it'd be a dope time to start a position here. I was drawing out the last level of just consolidation before it pumped up, and it's right around here at the 535 mark. So if it retests anywhere below this white box I have here, I mean, it's a very good buying opportunity anywhere within this white box. So definitely interesting. I wanted to ask, simply because we always gonna need a catalyst in order to reverse the market back to the downside. Is anything going on as far as like Federal Reserve, Trump, anything that you guys probably can comes to mind as far as what could shift the narrative as far as this uptrend that we have in the market and push it back down?
I'm thinking globally, and what I'm thinking is it's multi-tiered. You have, and again, not getting political, strictly talking about how things will affect the market. You have Israel saying that they're moving in to go and do more occupation of Gaza, where the Palestinians live. So they are advancing their
war effort, if you will. We've got Trump meeting with President Putin of Russia to demand a ceasefire in Ukraine, which Putin has already said not going to happen. So I think once that happens, it will put a little bit of fear in the market. Along, both of those things coupled together could definitely put some fear in the market, and I think it'll send some jitters.
There's a lot of things going on that could go terribly wrong. It's a little bit scary because there are some big geopolitical things. This whole Russia-Ukraine thing is, in my eyes, it's a big deal, and the market made no reaction to it. But over the weekend, because Russia is saying that the only way they'll do a ceasefire is if Ukraine gives up the territory that they have taken already. And first off, don't trust a fucking word Putin says. What's going to happen is, first off, Europe is fully backing Ukraine, and Ukraine said no way, and Europe said no way, they can't have that area because they know that just inches Putin closer and deeper toward their countries. It would be a bad idea. So, and then this idea that Trump is meeting with Putin without Ukraine, it's not and without Europe as well, just the two of them, is not going to get anything accomplished. And I feel like this could get really ugly and cause problems even more so with Europe.
It very much could cause a lot of problems with us with Europe. With us getting involved and Trump making these demands. Who knows? You got to remember that Europe gets a lot of their oil from Russia as well. And
That I was just going to say, anything affecting oil and gas.
It just will a lot.
Yes. So, well, actually, Carly, I'll let you speak on it.
Yeah,
if you'd like to.
The oil thing's really interesting because China gets a lot of oil from Russia. There's another country that it was supposed to be part of the tariff deal, that they wouldn't sign a tariff deal unless they stopped getting oil from Russia. And God, can anybody remember what country it was? Because the country said, screw you, we're still going to get our oil from Russia.
Was it Germany, perhaps?
I don't feel like it was an Asian country, but I can't remember. But there are a lot of countries that still get their oil from Russia. And,
well, I know China's still going to get some oil from Russia.
Always going to. You really are friends, and with Iraq and North Korea, they really are all buddies. But I cannot remember what that other country was. Sorry. But yeah, this will, especially if they come to a quote unquote ceasefire, the price of oil is gonna dump, because then that means everything's cleaned up, and there's people can still buy oil from Russia or whatever, it works out. But if it doesn't, I would expect oil to go up. Regardless, oil should move with this news. Bottom line.
It's at a very, very pivotal. I'll say, oil is at a very pivotal point right now. It's approaching support here. Well, when I say oil, I'm looking at Exxon, and that's normally the one I trade mostly, but it's approaching support at like 103, and it's at 106 now, after having that nice little run back up to retest or attempt to retest the 120 levels. But like you said, this news.
Can you pull up USO?
USO, okay.
Yeah. That's what I would look at. Yeah.
And I mean, the charts was going kind of similar. Because we both seeing these long period of sideways consolidation.
Yep.
So we do have a gap that's unfilled for USO around 68 to 67.45. So I wouldn't be surprised if that news moved it.
It won't.
And this is kind of like that temporary floor that is trading at right now. So I mean, once this breaks and it doesn't reclaim the support level right here, then yeah, we'll probably see it roll over down to this mid $60 level, $68 to $67 level, and then something will probably happen that'll drive the price back up to retest this what used to be floor turn ceiling now, and then we go from there. So it's very interesting.
And I like the leverage products on this. There's WTIU, which is WTI up, and then WTID is down. Those are the two that I like to play the best. W maybe
WTID.
WI. Try WIT. I is in indigo. WITD as in down. No?
What is it? Is it supposed to be bold?
Yeah. Yep. I gotta pull it up. Hold on here.
There it is. It was at the top. Oil D.
Well, we found something oil U and oil D.
Yeah. One's up and one's down. So one's a bull and one's a bear. The U is the bull. You think prices are going to go up. The D is that's actually a different one. That one's good too.
Oh, now you're talking my language with these inverse tickers.
Yeah. It's so much better than options right now. You just can't trust options right now. It's too dangerous.
Yeah, you show me a inverse ticker, I can make it work.
Good, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna add these to to one of my watch lists.
Hold on, I'm gonna get another good one for you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna add those too, and we're gonna start watching those. Just to see if we can get some traction built on trading oil and gas.
Yeah, WTID and WTIU. It's the microsectors, energy, the inverse, and the bull and the bear. Yeah.
Yeah, you showed me the right one.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I think those will move because it's going to be a difference of if Russia gets sanctions put on it and people start buying oil from us, our oil companies are going to benefit the most from that. So sometimes I just play straight oil, but sometimes I want to go with the oil companies. And I think this could be a situation where it's either going to be really good for oil countries or companies or really bad for oil companies.
Right now it's looking real bad unless it gaps up pretty soon.
Well, it's all going to matter depend upon what happens with Russia and Trump and Ukraine.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. That'll definitely be something that I'm gonna keep an eye on. All right. Well, is there anything interesting that you guys been keeping an eye on? I know we watched Apple. I know how do we feel about Hood? Is Hood Palantir, is it overextended yet? And will it ever come down?
Man, I had some hood calls that I sold entirely too early
because I was up like 90%.
I remember it was like a 105 call, wasn't it?
It was what was it? It was a 110. Yeah, it was a 110.
Okay.
8:15. So I had plenty of time. And man, the return on it was just too good. I had to secure the bag. You know what I mean? Got to secure the profits. That's what it's all about. Well, man, I go to trade on Friday, and I start look, and I was like, "What is this price?" You know, and then I look at what it closed at in aftermarket on Friday, and I'm like, "Where, like where is it going to stop?" That's the question. Is it going to open at 120? I don't know. I just don't know.
Bro, did you see the message where I said hood runs on Fridays?
Oh man, yeah, exactly. No, I didn't see that, unfortunately.
When did I post that? I talked about it. Let me see if I can go back. Because I don't remember exactly what the price was. Let's see.
But yeah, when I saw those gains, I was like, I really want to keep these contracts. Maybe I'll just sell one and keep a runner. And then I was like, I really need to be smart about this and just take the profits because that's what this is about. The percentage was way above my trading plan anyways, so it's a win.
I was trying to see what price it was trading at when I was alerting it, but it's definitely moved. It's like every Friday. Every Friday you see Hood wake up around Thursday afternoon, and then Friday is just like, if you're not on this train, it's too late. We gone. And so it looked damn good Friday. What was that, Carla?
Probably because a lot of people get paid on Fridays, so retailers are gonna pick that trade foot and it's refill.
Right. Cause yeah, last Friday went from 95 to 101. And then this Friday it went from 101 to 114.
Jesus, name shows, but
Yeah. Oh my.
What else used to trade like that on Friday? Was it
Tesla, baby.
Tesla used to run on Fridays and then gap up crazy on Mondays.
It was nuts. I mean, there was a 3-month period I remember where you could buy because Tesla doesn't do any zero DTEs. So if you don't have the money to buy a call on a Monday for a weekly or buy a call for a couple days out and you want to be super risky, and I mean super risky, you go ahead and buy essentially a Tesla zero DTE. You buy it Friday morning, but it without fail worked every Friday for like 3 months in a row. It seemed like it was every Friday for 3 months in a row. I'm sure there's a couple of red ones in there.
Did it seem like you said? It seemed like you just wake up and Tesla be up $25 on a Monday. Like what the hell? So, I mean, Tesla one on one, you just never know. Like, buy shares, hold it. I mean, if you like Tesla, whenever Tesla drops, you can buy some of those and get that monthly dividend off of that. But I want to see Tesla. I want to see Elon focus on Tesla, and I want to see Tesla make his way back to like 500. I don't know. We'll see that.
It'll be complete.
Oh yeah, because you got some Tesla, don't you?
Yes, I bought them out of high school.
Wow, smart man.
So that's my dad, man. My dad's like, "Hey, you should probably just buy some of this." I was like, "All right."
You know what? Take Dad. Appreciate that.
That was his gift. He passed that down, and you sit nicely years later. So that's
True.
super dope. So
Well, all right. Tesla to 6,000. How about that?
There we go.
we talked about something a little bit before we started going live on 401k and pensions. I'm not sure how far it goes, how deep it goes, but I think Fridge was breaking it down pretty good. You got some more info on that, bro?
Yeah, dude. I mean, when I was like, yeah, I've been looking at these, like, I've been researching for 20 minutes straight. It was me finding all the information about it that I could about it. Do you want me to share like what I've got like on my screen, or what are you feeling?
Yeah, you can share it on the screen.
All right, let me see. Let me show you what I got here. I did a lot of research on this here.
Okay.
So I got my screen up now. You can take a look. Got a couple of things, a little bit of research on things here. The first thing, and I'll try to hopefully not bore you guys to death here with my explanations. The idea behind it is allowing 401ks to get into private equities, whether it's infrastructure, real estate, crypto. And that's why you saw a huge pump in crypto as of recently, like Thursday, Friday, was because Trump was putting the executive order in to allow 401ks to start to diversify. So this was the major part about how pensions versus 401ks really work. And it's by BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, who has so much more knowledge and money than I do, that has no idea what's going on compared to what he says here. But instead of going into a 60-40 split between stocks and bonds, he's thinking that maybe it could be a 50-30-20, where it's stocks, bonds, and private assets like real estate, infrastructure, private credit, so on and so forth. And part of his article, he talks about how pensions have outperformed the 401ks by about 0.5% per year. But again, think about like 30-ish time, you'd be looking at about a 15% gain on your investment more with pensions compared to 401ks. And he talks about how 401k providers don't really know how to invest in private equities, so they don't tend to do it in that way. And so I thought, wow, Larry Fink's a really smart guy here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to find exactly what Larry Fink wrote about back in April to his investors on BlackRock. And believe it or not, so the major thing he talked about with private equity is you're looking at private companies, like OpenAI, potentially, SpaceX, like those ones. You got infrastructure, which I didn't realize how much of a market there was in infrastructure, but there is. Crypto and real estate was like the bigger ones. He's projecting that the infrastructure by 2040 is going to be investments up to $68 trillion. And I love this analogy here that he wrote. It's equivalent to building the entire interstate highway system in the U.S. and the Transcontinental Railroad start to finish every 6 weeks for the next 15 years. That is how much money there is potentially going to be in infrastructure and how much of an impact it could have on our U.S. economy. Those numbers are absolutely insane. The highway systems are run throughout the country. The railroads, same thing. You started every 6 weeks. You've done every 6 weeks for 15 straight years. That's how much valuation is in infrastructure. And he breaks it down even more into roads, energy, railroads, telecom, water, so on and so forth.
If they included like data center infrastructure, would that be a part of that?
That might be part in the telecom section right here, maybe in something along the lines of that is what my guess would be. Maybe something else along the lines of that. I'm not really quite sure.
Of that, if it infrastructure or what we think of now with AI infrastructure.
Right. Yeah, so there's a lot of money that's going to be pumping into infrastructure, right? So you have all this money going into infrastructure, which is absolutely insane, which I didn't even know about. He goes into talking more about private markets and how it is. And even most companies in the U.S. are private companies comparatively to public, as you can see by more data he's got here. Obviously, the U.S. has more public traded market, more public traded companies than other parts in the world. But still, there's a lot of money and a lot of people that make a crap ton of money in private equity in those private markets, right? So then I was, okay, let me go even further into this because, this is what Fridge Financials does when he has nothing better to do, is to just research all these different things here. I found the PowerPoint presentation that he refers to back in 2022 on BlackRock and how private equity and investments can make a huge difference. And so what he talks about here is that what you'll notice is that in this figure here, in 1995, investors could meet return objectives through fixed income in cash in 1995 with a 7% return. To meet that same target today in 2025 requires an allocation to private equity, into private markets, which is now needed. As you can see, we've had more money going to public equities, but now private markets are needed as well. And the huge thing behind this, which is why, again, people are so optimistic about investing into private markets and how pensions do well compared to 401ks, is that when you include private equity and private investments in here, it actually de-risks your portfolio and increases your annualized returns. That is the best case scenario that you can get. You not only de-risk your investments, but you also increase your annualized returns. So it's very interesting that he breaks it down this way. And this is why people talk about why crypto pumped up pretty much, because again, crypto is one of those assets that you can not really get into your 401k, but this executive order could make a huge difference. And why the prices went up, again, if people are able to have access to invest in crypto in their 401ks, that creates more demand, which pumps prices even higher. So that's why you saw that optimism in the markets overall as a result. And again, the idea that you can de-risk your portfolio because you're diversifying it and also increase your return, that's a win-win situation. If anybody could tell you to your face that I can de-risk your portfolio and increase the percent return, you'd be thinking they're nuts. But that's what private equity allows people to do because it's diversified, but it also maximizes their returns, which I think is absolutely amazing. So if this executive order is finalized and it goes through, so I think it's in the draft works right now, it could be a huge difference and a huge impact positively on 401ks to be up there with pension funds, because pension funds have been doing it for many years. 401ks have not. 401ks are usually like your target date funds, your stocks and bonds usually split that you have. But pensions, they just get all this money in there and they're able to be more aggressive with it. And pension funds usually are better because it's a fixed payment no matter what when you get pension. So like for me as an educator, when I retire, I get a fixed payment in my pension plan that goes out. No matter what the market does, I get a fixed payment, unlike the 401k, which is a little bit different. So huge news here, which I think is absolutely a good thing. The biggest problem that they break down in these articles is liquidity. When you're getting into private markets and whatever investments you look at that are alternate investments, the problem compared to public traded markets is liquidity. Being able to buy and sell when you need to is easy with Apple stock, with Tesla, with NVIDIA. But when you're looking at private equity, well, not everybody might have access to it. That's why it's private equities, right? When not everybody has access to it and only certain people do, there's a lot less buying and selling. There's a lot less shares available. It's harder to buy, to sell. And so the biggest problem that they come up with is that idea of like, what happens if you switch jobs? Well, you got to roll your 401k over. To roll your 401k over, you got to close it. To close it, you got to sell off your positions, which would be private equity included in this. So it's a lot of really interesting things here. But honestly, to me, very fascinating to someone who's looking at retirement in 30 years. Like, this is a game changer where it can hopefully maximize your returns. And they don't even say the full port. It's a full port into private equities. Larry Fink says, hey, do a 50-30-20, where basically, take away from your stocks and bonds and put it into private assets. And as we know, real estate usually is increasing and it's inflationary resistant with real estate. Infrastructure is always growing, private equities, all that kind of stuff is a really good tool to have in your portfolios. So very interesting. Not sure if half of this made sense to you guys. You guys can obviously tell me if it does or not. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts or ideas about it, but very fascinating news that came out Thursday into Friday about this, and I'm excited for it. I think it's awesome. It's gonna be great for markets. That's what I got.
Well, I'll just let you know that as you were talking about that, I was just looking at the Bitcoin chart. Maybe I'm wrong on this. It's my understanding that the Bitcoin chart closes at 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, if I'm right on that, it was my understanding that we needed to close above 118
in order to, go for the next leg up. And it looks like we're going to close above 119. So hopefully we do get a little bit of a hold going into the week, which would be nice.
What time is it? Okay, so because the 24-hour market is about to open in what, 4 minutes?
4 minutes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So when the 24-hour market opens is when the Bitcoin, not the daily candle, obviously, but the daily.
It should be the bit. Well, I have to look at that actual trading view to see to look at the timer on the daily candle.
Like I said, this is what I believe, but I may be wrong about that 8 p.m. mark.
Yeah, because the daily. Well, no. So the daily candle only has about 2 minutes left.
Okay, so it is 8 p.m. All right,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you for confirming. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so they have 2 minutes left. I want to see Microsoft gap up. My bad, Fred. Go ahead.
No, I was just, I don't know if you guys, are excited. I don't know if you guys have like royalty, because what is your retirement? Is it 401k or is it something else?
Yeah, it's 401k. They took away the pension feature. I think like pre 80 or something like that. So actually the last guy in my building actually just retired early this year, and he was probably one of the last ones that was on the actual pension plan. So
Oh, wow. So how would you feel about, if you could be able to take your 401k and put it into private equities and stuff like that? Would that be something that you'd be for, or are you against that? Or what are your thoughts on that kind of idea?
I mean, honestly, coming from him, I think, my opinion, I think pension plans are just is what I would take. It just sounds more solid. It doesn't have it doesn't sound like it has too many holes that'll risk your retirement funds.
Right.
Regardless of what the market does, like you said, you still gonna get a set amount for retirement. Meanwhile, my 401k is reflected through the stock market. So if I got 10 years or 5 years, left until retirement, I really don't want my 401k mirroring the market, because you don't know what would happen within that 5 years, and all of a sudden your 401k go from this amount down to this amount, and you panicking now because it's not the same at the time. So
Yeah, I think that's the big thing where it's like, if your horizon is, 5-10 years, and, then I wouldn't recommend it. But, if you're looking at like 20-30 years, on times on your side still, I feel like it's still a speculative play, but it still could have the benefits of, getting into crypto, getting into, real estate, getting into infrastructure and stuff like that. If you look at 20-30 years, I feel like it might not be a bad, investment to kind of diversify your portfolio a little bit.
definitely, like, all the stuff that happened at the beginning of the year, I'm not worried about it. I got plenty of time on my side, to allow this to come back into play. But, like I said, the guy that retired earlier this year, good thing he had a pension, because, if not, and his 401k would have took a massive drop like that, he might have to wait another year to retire to see if he can wait it out and get some of that money back.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Fish, what do you think about that? I mean, do you have a 401k, Fish? Or I'm not going to be personal, but, do you have a 401k or pension or what?
So, I can't really, well, I mean, it's not that I can't, I won't go into, much detail publicly, but what I will say is, at one time, yes, I, was getting a 401k through an employer. I am no longer eligible for a 401k or pension, and it's not due to unemployment or anything like that. There are certain rules around retirement plans, and once you reach certain levels, you're no longer eligible for these pensions. That's about enough
That's what I want to say.
But it really don't matter because Fish got he got his own personal 401k and MSTR. So bro got calls, bro got shares, dividends. I mean,
Not at all, dude.
MA.
Yeah, he's got a Bitcoin miner at his house. You know, real bad goer. And that's still infrastructure. I hear that, dude. So so Fish, let me ask you this though, right? So in theory, right? Let's say that you were 21, graduated high school, graduated college, whatever, and you got a 401k like starting tomorrow. Would you be on board for this kind of switch up to getting invested in private equities as your 401k retirement plan?
Okay, if I'm recently starting, if I've recently got started, or I am starting my 401k or a retirement plan, I want everyone to know that I am a high risk, high reward investor. Or I wouldn't say investor, trader. All right. With that being said, if you are young, you know what? Start out the right way. You do have time on your side where you can be risky right now, and if you end up losing it, you've got more time to make it up. I think that's the wrong approach. I think the correct approach is to get a nice foundation under yourself, learn how to invest the proper way to set yourself up for a lifetime of, or not a lifetime, but a retirement of comfortability and stability. And after you've done that, that's when you can go ahead and start making your risky trades, or you start allocating a little bit more of your, your paycheck investment into your 401k. That's when you can start going for that 20% of crypto or 30% of crypto, or whatever that Larry Fink's talking about. Personally, I wouldn't do it right now. I'd put a little bit in. I'd probably go, maybe 5-10%.
5, yeah. I think it would be like 5 probably.
Yeah, because, once again, you don't want to be there at 65 going, man, I could have had $8 billion more,
Yeah. I think 5 to 10 is a good rule of thumb.
Yeah. But do you think so? Would you say this is like, but this could be like a good step forward, long term future that giving 401ks access to private equity in general, even if it's not 20%, if it's like 5-10%, you could set it to 5-10%, whatever. So, do you think overall that this is a good step forward for a 401k retirement account?
Generally speaking, yes.
Generally speaking, no percentages. Just hey, if I have the chance to get into private equities. And like, it's like, whatever it is, whether it's infrastructure, real estate, crypto, even if it's 40%, whatever.
Can I just throw a caveat on here? I think it's an excellent idea as long as you are not over leveraged.
Correct. Completely agree with that one. Bruno, do you have any thoughts about that one? I know, because I'm kind of just running the line here. Sorry, Royalty, I'm taking over a little.
I think, with the 50, 30, 20, since it's not just 20 in crypto, it's pretty diversified within itself. I'd say, it's not a bad breakdown that they're putting in there. 30% in bonds, but hey, what?
But the way I look at it also, that I think about is, with the idea of like the 20%, like you said, yeah, it's all across the way. But also, like, there's people who can't get into real estate right now anyways. Like, I can't buy real estate right now where I'm at because of how expensive it is, interest rates, stuff like that. So if I can still get some benefit of real estate without having to go out and, drop a huge down payment down or pay a high interest rate and refinance later on, like, this gives me that exposure to the real estate market without having to really dump a lot of money into it. And also, again, like, I never thought of infrastructure as an investment, but it's like, holy crap, yeah, like, this place is like, this country is growing. Like, it's always building new things. It's always putting more money into, growing it and making it bigger and better, right? So I always thought that was really interesting. And, and I want to be a part of that. I want to get on that. So that way, I'm not behind, I'm not falling behind you if that's where we're going. So, but you're 100% correct, I think, where, you get not just 20% crypto, it's 20% between crypto. Maybe it's like 5% crypto, 5% real estate, 10% infrastructure within it, whatever the case is, something like that maybe. But I think, yes, I love to hear that. Carly, did you have any, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this kind of moving forward and aspect of 401ks? Or...
I'm back to my bread. I'm just going to let you guys have.
I smell it over here.
It's a sourdough. I'll tell you what, I'll take a loaf.
Right. Yeah. So no, I just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on that one. So royalty, I'll leave it back to you. I don't know if you want me to stop sharing my screen or not, but it's always, that's kind of like the thing where it's like I didn't even know this, but pensions do have a better return than 401ks. I didn't even know there was a possibility, but it's not a much big difference, obviously. But it's always to consider to think about, how you get ahead of the game a little bit. So that was my 2 cents.
Okay. Well, hey, you didn't take over the show. I mean, this is, like I said, this is a team effort, so loved it. And, with me looking at pensions and 401k, well, I'm employed at, it's a pretty good thing to know, and that's a pretty good thing to share with people just so they can know, the differences between the two. You know what I'm saying? So definitely dropping gems today. Well, actually, all you guys been dropping gems all night, so I appreciate you guys. We'll probably go ahead and start wrapping it up here. We done held you guys up for almost about 2 hours. And, we probably could go another 2 hours if we wanted to, but we gotta save some for next weekend and see what we can make out the market this upcoming week. So, as always, we're gonna close out with, does anybody have anything you want to send with the viewers going for into this new week? Anything positive, anything that could help them with more of a positive mindset or execution, discipline, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I got something that's a little bit of a different one. Usually I say, hey, react to the market or something like that, and I usually come up with like some ChatGPT version way of saying it, I feel like. But honestly, like this time is a little bit different for me. I think for me personally, something that's positive to walk away is honestly start finding some good websites that publish some really fascinating data about the economy, where it's going, the predictions and everything. Like I look at Bank of America, they put a lot of statements out there that have a bunch of cool graphs and information behind it. There's another one that I think I follow, it's like CME Research Group is another one that I subscribe to, and it's a free subscription where you can sign up with an email, and they have a lot of cool articles. And honestly, like the more articles you read into it, the more you can see and educate, where's money going, where's the market going, what's going on here, what's going on there. So instead of just reacting to the market this week, because obviously it's going to be reactionary every single time, find some really cool, websites. If Bloomberg has some free articles, they're not a free subscription, but there's some free articles you can read through some stuff. Like I said, I showed you guys the Larry Fink thing I found about BlackRock and some of that. That's a cool thing to read through. Just finding different websites that give you some really cool information and some really good pieces to help you stay informed with what the market's doing, what top CEOs are doing, what top financial advisors are doing, because it really helps you gauge what's happening. And it also has some cool information that has nothing to do with the stock market. Like Royalty just said, we went on to about pensions and 401ks. Nothing to do with the stock market, but still some very valuable information that you have there. So any kind of articles you can find that are backed by research really is going to make a difference in your financial game long term. So find some things, Google some things, reach out to me, obviously, if you'd like to, and I can definitely give some good direction for it. But find some articles and just read. And I tell you, it makes a huge difference. Then you could have these conversations and you can look for patterns and trends, and it will make your life 10 times better. And you really get a better understanding of finance. And that's what matters. The better you understand, the more of a good path you'll be on for financial freedom, in my opinion.
I want to pick tackle on Bloomberg and let everybody know. Anybody who follows me probably knows I'm a Bloomberg junkie. I have it on all day during trading hours. I actually started at 5 a.m. But you can stream it for free on their app. Their live.
I know that. Oh.
I always recommend, if you're a day trader at home, find something you can stream and just throw Bloomberg on. You don't even have to have the volume, but you get the red heads. You get the headlines like really, really, really fast. So,
Interesting.
and they're market related headlines. So you're ahead of the curve with news, especially if you're like a zero data trader,
No, this is very useful. Thank you so much, Carly.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. So stream French financials videos on one, and then put Bloomberg on another one. See who's better.
Here, download that Bloomberg app tonight.
Right, I'm saying. Wait, Carly, is it work for the web browser too or no? Just
Looks like it, Fridge. I'm opening it up right now. Looks like it.
I was going to say, one a computer question.
because I got 3 monitors. I got to figure out what to do with 2 of them. So if I could throw that on there, that'd be great.
They have really great shorts too.
That's awesome.
Fish, you want to send the people home with something to think about?
Yeah, man, I got a couple of things here. First, I'm going to touch on just, hey, man, a friend of mine told me a couple years ago something that I will never, ever forget. It doesn't cost anything extra to be kind. Be kind to.
I think Shaq's mom said something like it costs you nothing to be nice or something like that. So yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about. So Fish heard someone else. I'm sure she heard it from your friend, dad, or mom.
Thank you.
Hey, well,
But yeah, so like, hey, man, if you're at the store, hold the door open for somebody. Just, do something a little bit extra, just a little bit.
The long ways.
Yeah, exactly. Beyond that, as far as the market is concerned, try to tune the noise out. We got so much noise going on these days. There's just, it's impossible to keep a clear head if you're focused on the charts and you're focused on all the noise going on. You've got, CNBC or Bloomberg saying this, and then, oh my God, the president's going to speak. And then, you keep waiting for it, and then he's 30 minutes late. And then, oh my God, the president just, put out a social media post. Tune the noise out. Just trade the chart that's in front of you and trust your TA, trust your conviction, trust your DD, and trade from there, And then I just got to throw it out there, man. I just got to throw it out. PSTV and MRM. MRM is a company that I just got into the other day. Thursday after market, it was announced that Sam Altman was partnering with them. So that's why I bought it. And all I know is it's going up. I don't have any projections on it. I don't think it's too late. I saw smart money getting in after I got in. And then PSTV is a company that does treatment for children. It's brain cancer treatment, but they specialize in pediatric treatment, and it's basically a way to make the treatments easier for children. They also, make it for adults, but they specialize for pediatrics. And so I just thought it was a great mission, good moral investing. So I went ahead and went in. Rather than day trading it, I went ahead and made a long position and just kept increasing my shares. I'm expecting 2 catalysts coming this week. They have earnings coming up, and then they also have an investor conference where they're going to release all of the newest data on their newest orphan drugs for their cancer delivery system, which is their cancer treatment delivery system. So, and it's all expected to be very, very good. Just wanted to figure out in there.
Okay. Dope. Perunga, you got anything, bro?
yeah, I mean, I definitely say with Fridge, be nice. But I think, or sorry, Fish, my bad. But I'd say when you're opening trades, just keep it small. Keep it small, keep it often. If we have a reversal, then you're losing only the small amounts that you are willing to fully lose. Just be smart, and if you're having a hard time, maybe find different ways to do it. Give me a call.
Give me a call.
Whatever.
Give me a call. I love that.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you, man. I love that. That's awesome.
Yes, I think for the most part, all of our Discord DMs and chats are always open, even if you're not part of the kingdom. Like I've helped people, and I know Fish help people, and a lot of other of us. Yeah, Colin, everybody's helped people. Our DMs are always open. Discord is always open. So definitely check them out. And everybody said, be kind. Start small. If you're having a hard time in the market at the moment, work your way back into, starting with small amount and going back up to big amounts. I tell people all the time, buy shares. Buy shares. If you're having a rough time trading options, buy shares, man.
Yes. Preach royalty, please.
You can't go wrong. I mean, it's a company that you believe in. The money's not gonna. I mean, the stock is not gonna expire by the end of the week.
No,
Just
kind of.
you just say do what makes sense, and buying shares just makes sense if you're either getting in the market or just trying to build a foundation for your portfolio.
I'd say also to add to that, buy shares and don't panic. Just
Don't panic. Right.
Yeah.
As long as the fundamentals haven't changed, it doesn't matter if the price goes down because you're in shares and you can wait for the price to come back up.
It's only a 150 sell.
Exactly.
So, but I want to appreciate everybody for giving up a little time to tap in with the Kingdom Podcast. We're here all week. If you're looking for somewhere, just to have a trading home, a community, you can definitely check out the Kingdom. If you're on After Hours, check out my bio, check out Parunga's, David Knight trying to make it. It's so many of us on After Hours that's a part of the Kingdom. You can check our bio. We'll have links there for you to join and just come fill us out. Close-knit community. The Kingdom University is open. So definitely, if you're looking for education, we got everybody that's on this podcast today and that's a part of the team. We're all educators there. We break stuff down. Carly is getting ready to host a ladies' night in the Kingdom. Super dope.
Ladies, please, if you're out there, please, any level is welcome. Anybody, all you ladies, please come. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be nice. It'll be a place you don't have to feel intimidated. If you're new, we don't care. You're gonna learn something, and just a nice time for all to learn from each other. So please, August 17th at 4 Cali time, 7 East time.
Yeah, so we'll get all the details. We'll get all the details organized. We'll even make a bigger announcement, to draw in some more people that could be interested. So I mean, 99% of the thing is people don't know. So we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it known, and I'm gonna make it exclusive to you ladies. So,
Yeah, thank you, royalty.
yes, ma'am. So, thank y'all for tapping in with the Kingdom Podcast. We appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all next Sunday. So, we're out, and we love y'all. Have a good week in the market. Have a good week in the market.